Hello, welcome. So this week I'm in the camping barn this week in the Peak District. I was going to camp out, but the weather this week has been so unpredictable. It's been lashing it down. Right, so tonight I'm going to try out two antennas. I've got the 49:1 end-fed wire antenna. I'm going to cut a fresh piece of wire for this tonight, a shorter piece of wire, a bit lighter, and just work on 40, maybe 20. This is actually cut so we can get on 80, but it's very long and very heavy, and it takes two supports to put this up. So I'm just going to be cutting a fresh piece of wire, getting that on the analyzer, and just see if I can get that tuned in on 40. I think I can get 20 on that as well. And then secondly, I've brought with me the air antenna for 20 meters, so I'm going to give that a go as well. Okay, so I've cut, I don't know if you can make this out or not, but the gauge, the wire gauge that comes with the M1cc antennas is super lovely wire. That is really top quality stuff. It is very heavy. I've got a lighter gauge. I'm only going to be doing less than 100 watts anyway. So I'll put that onto there. I've cut this for, it's about half a wavelength on the band, on the lowest band. I'm sure that's how it's meant to work. So I've cut the wire for about 21.5, 22 meters, which is over half a wavelength. What I can do is, because I've got the analyzer, I can get this up in the air and just fold the ends over until it tunes in. What I don't want to do is actually just find the right length and just keep chopping bits off it, because when I use this elsewhere I might find I might need that extra wire back because of the way that the antenna works with the surroundings. You don't really want to be chopping wire off these. You want to leave a little bit on and just fold it back until you get the tune in. So I'm going to put up, I've got a pole, I've got a fiberglass pole, I've got a DX Commander pole to put up. I tend to use that more than I do the other poles that I've got, because it just withstands the wind up here much better and the change in temperatures, because it's nice outside now, but if it remains clear sky, the temperature can get down almost to freezing, and the change in temperature can really make some of the other poles quite brittle. So I do like Callum's choice of supplier for the DX Commander pole. It adds a nice combination to this. So get this in the air, tidy up, I'll get the radio hopefully working, and then we'll get tuned in then. Right, it's a little bit dark in here, I do apologise. Okay, so that's up in the air. I'm going to see where the resonant points are. Now it's cut to about 22 meters, just under 22 meters thereabouts. So my thinking, and you put in the comments as well what you're thinking, I think it'll be tuned to about 6.9 something, because it's going to be too long. Then I need to fold it back to make it shorter, to bring it up a bit. So if it's too long, it's heading down towards, the lower parts of the frequency, and then by shortening it, it brings it back up the frequency. So I reckon it's going to be about 6.9, and then I'll need to fold it back a couple of times maybe, and it should hopefully be in tune. Right, cutting that wire at over 22 meters was frankly ridiculous. I've ended up folding it back once, and then folding it back again, and folding it back again, so it's probably about 2 meters too long. And so the wire cutting on the floor was probably a little bit generous, and then I gave it a bit more to be a bit generous, and then I gave it a bit more to be extra generous, so just like loads of extra. It was down to 6.0 something or other, the resonant point. It's all been shortened now, so it's nice and sweet on 40, 20 and 17 meters.
It's soon enough. The acid from the capacitor can DH1MHG7HUS mobile clear. Just listening from the other calls. Cheers.
Mike 0 Sierra Zulu Tango Portable.
The portable station, the Mike station portable. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. It's Mike 0 Sierra Zulu Tango Portable. Name is Carl from the Peak District. You're 59 plus 10 dB.
Hi, Carl. Successful week. Well, I'm so pleased you called me. I'm a keen subscriber to your your YouTube channel, so honoured to speak with you, Carl. Brilliant stuff. I like your. I was only telling a good friend of mine who's parked next to me the other day that I like your channel because it's not just a
Second, but yeah, I'm in the camping barn tonight, working the IC7200 on the 100 watts. I'm using a end-fed wire with a 49:1 balance on the end of it, and I'm cooking a Chinese soy and ginger tonight. So yeah, back to you, mate. Cheers, Ian. Just finished that call. That was a good contact, really strong contact, from Eastbourne, I think that was, to the Peak District. The antenna is working wonderful. I've got wall-to-wall signals on 40 meters, very strong signals, to the point where I'm starting to get bleed over between certain frequencies. So I need to just dial that down a bit. But it is working really well, and the weather's not doing too much damage to the pole and the wire. So that is a good start. I'm going to have a cup of tea. Does anybody else leave their tea bag in their cups of tea? Because I do, and it's lovely. I will try the air antenna, but because I'm having such a roaring success with the end fed, it's going to be a little bit of an anticlimax actually going with the air antenna, because of the mindset, because I've now been flooded with lots of signals. If I purposely then go to a really compromised antenna, that's a little bit different than heading outdoors with a compromised antenna, knowing that you've got an uphill struggle to get a signal, and that's part of the fun. When you actually bring out the big guns, and then you have to switch to the compromised gun. I will give it a go. I will. I'll have a cup of tea first. I might actually have a glass of whiskey later, and then try the air antenna, because that'll be part of the fun. I can do a jig, an Irish jig, carrying the air antenna while I'm trying to operate FT8. I'll cut into the video how I connect the end of the wire and how I peg it down. I found you can get them from like pound shops and things, like bungee cords, but they have like a plastic end to them. And the reason why I try and use those type is when the wind's really blowing about and the pole's pulling. If you've got it pegged down quite hard, you've got a chance of having the peg bit by bit pulled and pulled and pulled, and the peg flies out. Then you get this wire just whipping around. So I tend to try and bungee the end down, so at least there's some play there, and the tension isn't necessarily directly onto the peg, especially around here, because the ground, you can't drive a very big peg into the ground. Sometimes you have to go at a really shallow angle as well, and so just having the bungee helps with that. This is not a cookery channel, but we'll do a bit of cooking on this one. I'm going to do simple ingredients tonight. I'm using chicken, but you can use tofu. Tofu is nice, but I've just got chicken anyway. Ginger, soy sauce, preferably light soy, and then some dark soy after, but I've only got dark soy, so dark soy sauce, bit of garlic, chili, a little bit of sesame oil. I've got some vegetable oil. In fact, I brought vegetable oil with me thinking I best bring some because there'll be none in the bunk barn. But actually we've got 1, 2, 3, and we've probably got four bottles of oil. So everybody that comes here brings a gift of oil. I've got to bring the chopping board at the truck. This is going to be mostly the ingredients. I don't need that much salt because I've got the soy. I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in as well, just to balance up against some of the sour sort of flavours. So it's going to be dead simple, using the usual cast iron. It's a case of I'm just going to brown the chicken up with some garlic and then ginger, soften the ginger down. I'm going to slice this ginger quite large rather than chop it and make it really fine. I'm going to have this sliced, so we've got nice big slices but really thin.
It's a crisis town to me. I'm in the Staffordshire Moorlands on the edge of the Peak District National Park, Chris. QSL? I've been off the air for about 2.5 years. Big shack revamp.
It's been fun. There's been a DX station on, and while we've been waiting for him to go have a cigarette and come back, there's been some intermission activity on the radio, which was interesting. Basically, I'm creating the flavours first by putting ginger in, a little bit of chili, and a little bit of oil. Then you chuck your main ingredient in, whether that's tofu or whatever. This time it's chicken. Get the ginger and the chilies and the garlic flavouring the chicken up, and then I'm going to drop in some soy sauce, get that fried up a bit, and then drop in the pak choy. So there's some pak choy here, and that'll go in. That'll create a nice little one-pot meal. I've got the antenna cut at just over 20 metres on a 49:1 balun. And it's basically, it goes vertical for about 9 metres and then diagonal down to the ground for about 11 metres. On 20 metres, I'm hearing the US. I'm hearing quite a decent amount of DX, almost like low angle stuff. Where I'm based, I'm actually in a dip, so there is a lot of landmass in the way. On HF, it does make a difference, So, I'm quite pleased with this. Cutting a wire down to about 20 metres makes it manageable. I can get it on a pole down to the ground. The weight of it isn't going to shatter the pole, especially as we head into winter when it gets really cold. I want to be able to quickly put up an antenna that will give me multiple bands without having. This is the key bit here. If I had this is the key bit here. If I had the choice, I would probably put up the DX Commander and put a bed of radios around. But being on the camp, I work here a lot at the camp. The problem is though, by having a bed of radials, is you've got a trap for dogs and kids and 52-year-old males. So I don't like to have lots of radials around. So I tend to do. So I don't like to have a lot of radials around on a public place. That's why I tend to go for the high up in the air and down to the ground. But it's a nice combination. This is. I like it. It's working for me. I can get 100 watts out. I can make contacts quite easy. I'm hearing quite low angle stuff. So pleased with the setup so far. Just a quick note on this. If you have it on too low, like I just did, you end up just boiling the food in its own juices. So these are just water that comes out of the veg and all sorts. Really, what you want to be doing is frying it rather than boiling it, because when you fry it, you start to really liven up and bring out all the flavours. Rather when you boil something, you don't really get the flavours into the food and out of the food. I ought to read the instructions to these things a bit more, but I'm under the impression that this is tuned in for 20 meters, so that all I'll need is a radio and this, and most likely a computer, unless you're very lucky to get a voice on this. So I've stuck it onto the antenna analyzer, and we'll have a look at where the resonant frequency is. There's one there. Okay. Oh, okay. So is that low? Is that low because it's low to the ground? Do I have to lift it up? Will that bring that SWR over on? Okay, right. It's just hanging there. This is just. Please don't shout at me. Oh. It's moving right. Okay. I've hung it up there, which is higher than that, but lower than that. And let's see what happens. Okay, where's it going to go? Yeah, no, that's okay. Okay, so it is really delicate. I've got it here now, back to there, and I don't know if you can see that, but that's that will be good if you running we could run FT8 on that. Do you ever have a feeling that you're being followed?
Des deux côtés, hein. It's a crisis town to me. I'm in the Staffordshire Moorlands on the edge of the Peak District National Park cliffs. QSL?
Actually, that surprised me. I am picking up some local signals really strongly, so that's pretty good. Right, that was good. The antenna, the long end-fed antenna worked really well. Really pleased with that. I think I'm going to use that again from here. It's really doesn't get in the way of anything. So apart from having the feed line, which I run most of it outside because it is part of the antenna, run that down the back of the step so don't trip over it, so that's good, but it doesn't get in the way in case campers do share the same campsite. The the air antenna, I must admit, when I got it settled so that the SWR was down, I did receive pretty decent signals on it, but as soon as I put anything into it, any transmission into it, it just went crazy because it's just in this confined space, I think. So I will give it a go outside. I'll perhaps use data mode on it rather than just try and do voice. But anyway, tea was lovely. Radio's been great. I've got a cup of tea now. I'll finish off with. Need to tidy up. I'll do a little bit more radio. Get a kip in. I want to try and get up early, see if I can catch some of the early traffic. I might get that on the video, so you might have seen that already, and I'll chop this bit out. But if I haven't, then then I haven't. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to the next video. Bye bye for now.